Hello again, and welcome to Good Nightmare, a podcast where I talk about all things creepy and criminal. Today I have a story for you that edges more towards creepy, definitely not criminal, as it's completely fictional. One thing that I've been wanting to include in my podcast for quite a long time, before I even started it, was fairy tale origins. The dark stories behind them, the original tales, and just the creepy stuff that goes along with our favourite stories. I think it's safe to say that a lot of us, if not all of us, are familiar with fairy tales, whether it's because our parents or guardians read them to us as children, or because we fell in love with Disney movies as we were growing up. They're stories that we tend to believe in, that are designed to teach us lessons in love and kindness and overcoming evil. Most modern-day fairy tales are made up of a regular arrangement of characters. You have the evil character, perhaps a wicked witch, a monster, or even a sister, a hero, most often a prince or a charming but unlikely street rat, a princess, usually one who's been down and out, either forced into cleaning duties or hidden from the public eye under threat of death or curses. And of course, there's always the happily ever after. But fairy tales weren't always this way. Sometimes there is no happy ending. Sometimes there's blood and death and gratuitous violence. I'm sure you've all heard tales of eyes being pecked out and feet being hacked apart to fit a certain shoe. Well, today I want to talk about what I consider to be one of the saddest and most romantic fairy tales written, The Little Mermaid. Now, I'm definitely not talking about the Disney version of the story, which is both adorable and fun and gives us the happiest of endings. And by the way, if I could have been a mermaid, I absolutely would have a red tail and a shell bra to match. But today I want to talk about Hans Christian Andersen's original story, published for the first time in 1837 in Fairy Tales Told for Children. Perhaps there is a lesson to be learnt in this story, one of love and kindness and morality, but it's hard not to take away from it a touch of the melancholy suffered by the Little Mermaid herself. In this story, the Little Mermaid lives in an underwater kingdom with her widowed father, the Mer King, her grandmother, and her 5 older sisters. As each daughter turns 15, they're permitted to visit the surface of the sea in their natural form, and later on, the human or upper world, as humans. As they return, they tell stories of their experiences to their younger sisters, and hearing them year after year gives the Little Mermaid a longing to know what life is like on the surface. When her turn comes to break through the surface of the sea, she witnesses a birthday celebration on a ship in honor of a prince. As with most fairy tales, it's love at first sight. She keeps her distance until a storm hits and sinks the boat, and then she rushes to save the prince from drowning. She brings him to the shore and leaves him to be found by a young woman and her ladies-in-waiting. The prince never so much as glimpses the Little Mermaid. I'm sure at some point in our lives we've all experienced unrequited love and the pain that it can bring. The Little Mermaid is no different. She becomes melancholy and asks her grandmother if humans can live forever, but she's told that unlike the 300 years of life granted to a mermaid, humans live for a much shorter time, and that while humans have eternal souls, when a mermaid dies, she will simply return to the sea as sea foam. The Little Mermaid bravely travels to the dangerous part of the ocean and visits the sea witch, who willingly gives her legs in exchange for the Little Mermaid's tongue and voice. She explains to the Little Mermaid that when the transformation takes place, she will feel as though she is being cut through with a sword, and that every step she takes on her new legs will feel as though she is walking on knives. She will be able to dance more beautifully than any human, but not without agony. As an added complication, the sea witch tells the Little Mermaid that she will only gain a human soul if she wins the love of the prince and marries him, so that his soul becomes a part of her. If she's not able to win his love, on the day after he marries someone else, she will die broken-hearted and turn to sea foam on the waves. The Little Mermaid agrees to take the arrangement, blinded by both hope and love. It's not hard to imagine yourself in her position. The first moments of falling in love are intoxicating. It feels so fragile but so intense that you would do anything to keep it alive. The Little Mermaid swims as near to the prince's palace as she can before drinking the potion that would turn her human and seal her fate. The prince finds her and is mesmerized by her beauty, and though she is mute, the prince loves to watch her dance. She soon becomes the prince's favorite companion. They accompany each other on several outings. It appears that he may one day confess his love and ask her to marry him. He tells her he is being pressured by his parents to marry a princess from a neighboring kingdom, but he can't. He says he can only love the woman he believes saved his life, though he doesn't know that she's standing right by him, in agony just to be with him. A marriage is arranged between the prince and the young woman who discovered him on the shore. The wedding is celebrated on a ship out at sea. The Little Mermaid, heartbroken and in despair, knows that her fate isn't far away. Her sisters visit her at the surface of the water. They've made a trade with the sea witch, cutting off their hair in exchange for a knife. They explain to the younger sister that if she's to kill the prince with the knife and let his blood drip over her feet, she may become a mermaid once more and return to the sea. She would be allowed to live out the remainder of her 300 years with her family. The Little Mermaid finds herself unable to kill the sleeping prince, and instead, at the break of dawn, throws the knife and herself into the sea. She expects to die upon the waves. But instead finds herself turned into an earthbound spirit, a daughter of air, due to her acts of selflessness. She is greeted by others who have also suffered a similar fate, and is told that she may one day earn her soul by doing good deeds for mankind for the next 300 years. She may then perhaps rise up into the kingdom of God. Just slightly different from the Disney story. Anderson was a beautiful writer, and while not too much is known about his personal life, upon his death there were love letters discovered that he had written or received from a man and a woman that he'd loved in his lifetime. Many people attribute the tragic ending of The Little Mermaid to his experience and expression of unrequited love for either of the people who were unable to return his feelings. It's not hard to believe that this may be the exact basis for the tale. I guess in any other story, now would be the time to explain the morals or lessons to be learnt, but sometimes it's nice to just enjoy a story for what it is, no matter how tragic. On a lighter note, and just for the record, my favourite Disney movies are Alice in Wonderland, which I watched on VHS until the tape warped, and Hercules, which I used to watch at least 12 times a week. Be sure to let me know your favourite fairy tales or Disney films if you have a preference. Don't forget to subscribe, rate and review. It helps me greatly. And tell a friend if you're enjoying my podcast. That would mean a lot to me. Feel free to email me at goodnightmare_s@outlook.com with your favourite fairy tales, historical crimes, mysteries, and any suggestions. You can follow me on social media at goodnightmare. Thanks for listening. Sweet dreams.